Going to be here until 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, only until 8
There it is.
But we will be here until then. Lots and lots of stuff to talk about. Dylan and I were saying before the show, I'm not even sure we can cover it all. We got so much stuff to go over with red snapper season opening, tarpon season in full swing. Just
how about that weather?
It's good God.
Poking the bear already.
Yeah, this weather has me grouchy. But anyway, we got to get a weather update. What are we looking at for weather? Is it going to get any better anytime soon?
It's a little wet this weekend.
A little moisture in the area.
Yeah, we're on that big full moon, nice solid full moon for sure, and lots of moonlight casting, a lot of moving water, and we're sitting here with a tropical depression, Miss Arlene, to our southwest, and she's making her way out of the Gulf, so that will be nice as it moves further south and kind of gets over there to the tip of Cuba. Directly to our south, that wind's going to start changing directions. We're going to get a little bit of an increase there through the night Sunday, really Sunday late in the day through Sunday night into Monday. And then it looks to be pretty darn nice this week coming up. So really looking forward to hopefully that weather dying back. And the interesting thing on the weather front that I would be remiss if we didn't talk about is this El Nino effect that we're sitting in the middle of. I mean, I think this is the first time in my lifetime that I've been like old enough, I guess, to really be tracking the weather and notice how strong this El Nino is. But I mean, this storm that we're having right now is a great example. It came from essentially North Mexico, South Texas, and came across the Gulf. And some advanced modeling was showing a potential for another one, the 10th and 11th and 12th. Now that modeling's not showing that, so next weekend's looking good, which is great. But essentially, instead of looking to our east and seeing those storms come off of Africa and making their way west across the Caribbean, now this year with the way El Nino is set up, tropical systems and depressions and lows and things we got to watch out for, these troughs are going to be moving from west to east because of that El Nino effect.
Is that good based on the fact that they may not pick up as much energy?
So typically what it means in an El Nino year, generally, as a generalization, is it's a little cooler, which we're experiencing. It's a little wetter, which we're experiencing. And then generally we have a little less active hurricane season. And I think it has a lot to do with what you said. They just don't have time to really develop.
Get enough energy going.
The problem is we experience things like we just experienced. They kind of come off, they're disorganized, they're widespread, they sit over the warm loop current, they have a chance to kind of develop, and we get these big rain events. My father and I were talking 2 weeks ago, and he said he remembers the last really strong El Nino that we had. It rained for like 3 months straight, and it was one of the worst summers that we experienced as a company from a pleasure cruise side of things, like Dolphin Boat, because rain obviously affects those trips more.
Right.
So he was saying that's one thing we got to kind of watch out for, as rain chances could potentially be a lot higher in these El Nino years. But the good news is a less active hurricane season, but the downside of that is you only need one, right? I mean, we experienced that with Ian.
Right.
One storm's really all you need to really ruin some people's lives, and really a whole area. And they're still reeling from Hurricane Ian.
There's no doubt. Yeah, I'm headed down there this week to film, actually, out of South Seas. So it'll be interesting. It'll be my first trip really down there, to see all the damage and all that's left, and unfortunately it's still extensive. So
exactly, it's really intense. So long story short, your best weather is going to be really kind of early to mid work week and beyond. It doesn't look bad today, it doesn't look bad tomorrow, but it's not flat calm. It's not beautiful. You got to be careful running offshore. The weatherman has been extremely wrong yesterday. I'm just glad everybody made it back safe. I mean, they were calling 2.5, 3 foot. It got to be 6 foot plus. One of our boats, the Flying Hub 2, is a big vessel. It took a wave over the bow that could have easily sunk a smaller vessel, and it was a little bit bone chilling compared to what was forecasted and what actually happened. And that has a lot to do with the storms that are out there in the Gulf. So you have to be very, very careful. And I would advise against going too far into the Gulf today and tomorrow, and even into Monday. Monday probably looks like the worst morning.
Yeah, it's not looking great, and of course I'm booked. So
classic.
That's kind of how it works. Our weather update this morning always brought to you by our good friends at Reese Windows and Doors, celebrating 51 years as the fastest, most trusted impact window and door company in Florida. They can install most windows and doors in just 6 to 8 weeks, and now you can win them for free. Just pick up the phone and text the word HAPPY to 20129. That's it. The word HAPPY to 20129. Win $15,000 in new impact windows from Reese. Gotta like it.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
Love free.
So the start of red snapper season was kind of a big note to the week. I mean, that's kind of huge. So that's just for the for hire guys, right?
So a little confusing on the red snapper front, and it's kind of interesting to me. People are some people have commented, why do federal for hire get to start earlier? Well, the private recreational anglers aren't starting early because the FWC made that decision, so they have fall dates. So anybody who's upset that the private recs aren't starting June 1st with federal for hire is because FWC wanted those weekends in October and November. So come October and November, I think there's like 6 or 8 weekends, some holiday weekends that are open for private recreational red snapper fishermen that we won't be able to participate in as federal for hire boats.
Gotcha.
But in order to produce those 6 weekends or whatever it is in October and November, they had to start the season later to provide more access and more quota available for later weekends. And one cool thing about the state that is not possible at the federal level that private recreational anglers also need to keep in mind is the last 3 years, I think, I don't know exactly, a couple of times, the state is more nimble than the feds, right? So, like, for example, what we're experiencing on our federal season, June 1st rolled around. We canceled because the weather was nasty, and a lot of people canceled. A lot of people haven't been fishing yet on our federal for hire season because of the weather. And the federal system is not nimble. They can't look at that and be like, oh, the weather was bad, they didn't catch their fish, let's add some quota to the end of the season, let's lengthen the season.
They just don't.
No, they can't.
They could.
We'll agree to disagree. The state is a lot more nimble. Their data collection
lives on Wall Street.
Their data collection system at the state level is a lot more nimble and flexible, and they have a lot more ability to look at the data and then assess the fact that, all right, there's quota left. The federal level, it's a lot harder to do because it's Gulf wide, and it's that data collection stream is a lot more delayed.
They couldn't just get it from the state.
They do get it from the state. That's where they get it from.
Why
but
is
they
it
have
so hard for one?
Because Texas relays their state data a year late.
Well, that's Texas' problem. We don't care what Texas gets.
Well, unfortunately, it's managed federally as a 5 Gulf states, and each state has their own data collection system. So they have to get all that data and then assimilate it together. So it can really, really slow the process down federally. Whereas the state level, FWC can communicate internally. They can react a lot faster.
Right.
So the private recreational anglers have seen lengthened seasons often when they have bad weather and they can't catch their quota. So anybody complaining about, oh, we didn't get to start at the same time at federal for hire, I would encourage you to look into the future and know that this fall you're going to be fishing when we're not.
Right.
And then if you don't reach your quota, if you had some bad weather, you're going to have a lengthened season.
Right.
We're not.
Right.
So it's one of those things. It's grass is always greener.
Yeah.
Private recreational red snapper opens June 16th. Our season opened June 1st. So it's on and popping. It's summertime fishing. Now, one thing as a reminder, triggerfish closed. They're closed for the months of June and July in a spawning protection. And then we have red grouper closing July 21st, unfortunately, in a quota closure. So definitely want to try to get out there and capitalize on your red grouper.
How's that bite been?
Red grouper has been good out deep, and it's getting better near shore too. This is the time of year where that water starts to warm up, or at least it was warming up. And we see the red grouper bite getting a little better deeper near shore, like 80, 90, 100 foot. Remember, my definition of near shore is out to 20 miles or out to 100 foot. So that deepest near shore water, we're seeing some of those red grouper. And then offshore, we're doing really well, out really, really far. And I was actually talking to a commercial fisherman yesterday who came in from a long line trip, and down south, they were fishing really well well south, but they're experiencing a huge push of really big red grouper from the south to north and mutton snapper. And we're seeing that on our recreational trips too. We're seeing much more red snapper than we ever have. But this was weird, right? Is this commercial boat brought in more mutton snapper than red grouper, which is like crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. To see that many mutton snapper coming off a trip is just insane. So the mutton snapper fishery has really, really rebounded since a lot of their spawning aggregation closures that they've been doing in the Keys.
I was going to say, it's usually stronger to the south, right?
Yeah, but they've closed a lot of areas where they've identified spawning aggregations of mutton snapper, and now with those spawning aggregation areas closed, the biomass seems to be proliferating. We have more fish. And those fish are getting pushed further north. Some people say climate change. Other people just, there's more fish, so they have to spatially expand. They have to expand their range.
Sure.
And we saw that behind Ian and behind storms. They often displace fish and move fish around. Behind Ian, we started catching schoolmaster snapper, dog snapper, mutton snapper a lot more frequently. And I mean, this year we started catching yellowtail snapper like a month ago, and now yellowtails are thick. We're seeing yellowtails in 80, 90, 100 foot of water. The other day, the hub caught a dozen yellowtails in 45 foot. Wow. So we're seeing yellowtail snapper really heavily too. So both yellowtails and mutton are one of those species, or both of those species aren't something we historically caught here.
Is it, I mean, my brain goes immediately to 80-degree water temp in February. Is it because of the
also goes,
warm spring?
I think it goes a little bit along with what we're seeing with snook, right? I mean, we got snook in Mexico Beach and in the panhandle of Florida.
Right.
We see stock shifting north. We're seeing the same thing on the Atlantic coast. They're catching kingfish and Cape Cod.
Wow.
They're catching cobia in Maine. I mean, we're seeing species really shift north quite a bit, and that's a big conversation at the federal level because it makes it difficult to manage those species. And I'm glad we're in the Gulf of Mexico where our system is a little bit contained. They can only move so far north, whereas in the South Atlantic, they're having a lot of problems with like things like sea bass or fluke or salmon, because it was always managed really heavily by this state, and now those fish are in the next state or 2 states up.
I wonder how much of it has to do with water quality. Anytime we talk about fish moving north here on the west coast of Florida, I immediately think water quality, because I know the further I go north, the better the fishery, the better the estuary looks.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much, I mean, you know.
That has a point, but then you go further north and then there's other water quality problems. Like in our area, you go a little bit further north in Apalachicola. They're having huge water quality issues. Yeah. I mean, their fishery has collapsed essentially.
And
then you go to Panama City.
You start talking about the northern Atlantic, and you have all those huge cities there. You know they have water quality issues going on there as you go north. So interesting stuff, no doubt. Phone lines are open here this morning. Again, Dylan and I were saying we got lots of stuff to cover this morning. So your questions, comments, fishing reports, always welcome. Bring them right here, 1-800-969-9352. Light them up. We'll be back.
Test. Working.
Hey, Mike, can you see me on your screen now, or is it still G?
No, I got you.
Oh.
What?
We have a jack wagon nominee.
All right.
Watched another jack wagon run through everyone's lines at the Skyway getting bait last weekend. Total shit show.
Our unhappy bridge fishermen.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I get it. God, this tells you when the last time they called.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's crazy, right?
Oh, crap.
What?
I didn't do the cross-posting.
For the live feed?
Yeah, so it's only on the Real Animals page. I was like, why isn't it showing up on Hubbard's Marina?
Come on, buddy. Don't shortchange.
Amateur hour over here.
Oh, shit, Bucks. compliment from one of our listeners, Stuart Davis. Good value today from Hubbard.
Oh, thank you, Stuart Davis. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. They were calling 3.2 foot at the South Buoy yesterday. We ran, Captain Joe, the guy I grew up with, he was like my age, ran out there on the Flying Hub 2, got out there, and it was freaking 5 to 7 foot. He was going up his anchor heading in idle, and a wave broached the bow of the Flying Hub 2, which is our big catamaran. It's like a Freeman. It's got a super tall bow, and a wave broached the bow. Crazy. Sent all this water down the boat, and he turned the boat to try to speed up to get all the water to come off the back because it's an open transom, and he couldn't speed up. There was too much water in the boat. Yeah, scary moment for sure. Big O said, I just finished my workout. I see Cap Mike showing off his guns this morning.
Headed to the gym, Big O. After this, gotta get one in. I didn't make it last night because I was thirsty for a catch.
Morning, John Rivers. Morning, LaShonda. Morning, Rich Fletcher. Randall Covert. Nick Nieves.
Randy.
Robert Riggs. Nathan Mobius. Tanya Lewis. Good morning, Miss Tanya.
The great Tanya Lewis.
Mm-hmm. William Keene. Amanda Marler. Thank you. This never ends.
There we go. I left my damn.
You left your iPad?
Of course. So unorganized.
There you go. Nathan Mobius had the same. Nathan Mobus had the same jackwagon as me. Jackwagon of the week was the weatherman who said it was 1.5 foot, and it turned out to be 4.5 foot. Yep.
Always the weatherman's fault.
All right, here we go.
Can you believe it?
That's right, Jim. That's how El Nino works, my friend.
Now your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
Welcome back. Short segment here before the bottom of the hour. Listen, Tuesday night, we're going to be at Bartow Ford for the Bartow Ford Real Animals Fishing Conversation. Already talked to Dana. She's got the food lined up. We got Cubans and stuffed potatoes and devil crab coming from Silver Ring Cafe there in Riverview. We'll have goodies to give away from Engel Coolers, Bull Bay Rods. We'll have some real animal swag. 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesday night, this Tuesday, June 6th, out at Bartow Ford. We're going to be talking tarpon. We'll be talking snook on the beach. Lots of great information. We'll be answering all your questions, so come on out and join me. I, unfortunately, will be your guest speaker. It was just my turn to come out there and do a little talking, so I'm looking forward to it. It's tarpon season. It's snook on the beach season, so we're going to try and cover that stuff for you, and I promise you we'll have a big old time.
A big old time.
Big old time. So
Yeah.
good stuff. Let's try to get a phone call in here, I guess, before we get too far. Because you and I will just
I was about to start talking again.
You and I will just talk the whole show. Let's get a quick report from the Keys. It's going to Big Pine Key. Check in with Cap Mike Perry. Michael, how are you?
Hey, Mike. How you doing, Dylan? Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Morning, buddy.
Things are wonderful in the Keys, except for today. It's a little rocking and rolling on the Gulf and the Atlantic side, so most charter boats are staying in today. We got a lot of weather. It's that time of year that we're fishing around the storms and watching our radars and working our way around pop-up storms. But the fishing's been fantastic. The yellowtailing, like Dylan said, the snapper fishing's been going crazy. Mutton snapper, yellowtail, big lane snapper, all the way into the bridges. People are catching 17, 18-inch lane snappers from the bridges. That's crazy. Unbelievable snapper fishing right now.
That's cool.
Yeah, those lane snapper are insane.
Yummy.
Yeah, and the mahi fishing is here. Like we were talking about last week, Dylan, it is a full moon, so guys have been fishing a little bit deeper, trying to go after them bigger fish, and it's just been really good fishing here in the Keys right now.
Nice.
Always good to hear, man.
Yep.
You guys got such a special fishery down there. I was down there filming here not too long ago. Bahia Honda Bridge, tarpon season, just magical stuff. I mean, it's as I was driving onto the Keys, I was thinking to myself, it's been too long since I've been here. To have this fishery in my backyard and I don't make it there enough is just kind of silly because it's really, really spectacular. Such a beautiful place.
I tell people this all the time. I've been coming here since a teenager. I still get as excited making the drive south from the Tampa Bay area when I have to be up there. And I still get a little bummed when I have to come home, even though it's kids or whatever. It's a good thing to come home to that place too. But there is nothing like that early morning drive through the Florida Keys over all those bridges as that sun comes up, and then you realize how crystal clear that water is, and the prospects of absolutely not what's swimming 100 miles each way, but what's swimming right underneath where you're driving.
No doubt.
I mean,
no doubt.
Folks, the fishing is fantastic down here. You got to do yourself a favor and come to the Florida Keys at least once. You owe it to yourself.
Fishing capital of the world. Mike, I got to let you go, brother. We're up against the break, but great call as always, and hopefully some people will get down there and book you up and get out there and do some fishing.
All right, guys. I'll see you at ICAST. You guys have a great one.
You too, brother. Thanks, pal. Good stuff right there.
See you, buddy.
Good stuff.
Always fun.
Yeah, always fun. I love the Keys. I really do. So
it's a special place.
It really is. There's no doubt. Fishing capital of the world. 1-800-969-9352. JR, Allen, you guys are up next. Hopefully we'll hear from you as well. Light them up. We'll be back.
From the local Lexus dealers, WFLA News Desk.
I wouldn't say the Keys is the fishing capital of the world, but
that's what they call themselves.
Yeah. Well, that's
Tampa
Bay's designation, man.
It is? Wow.
I'm gonna hit that real quick.
Okay, buddy.
Hold it down for me.
I got you, dog. Completely have you.
Visit your local Lexus dealer or go to Lexus.com to find the dealer nearest you. From the Boss Nissan Traffic Center, traffic is up to speed on all interstates and bridges in the Tampa Bay area. This report is sponsored by Wendy's $3 breakfast deal. Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is your choice of bacon or sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, plus a small seasoned potatoes for just $3. Break your morning routine and get your $3 breakfast deal today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. James Birmingham News Radio, WFLA.
We are dry and mild this morning with temperatures in the low 70s. We'll see a mixture of sun and clouds for the first half of the day, and it will be dry. But even as our wind continues to move away from the Tampa Bay area, we still have a lot of tropical moisture in place.
The door is ridiculous.
Heavy. Yeah, the guys at Hat Tricks are going to have, did I tell you that? They're going to have Catch as the beer of the month for July.
Yes. You didn't tell me that, but I watched your
saw in the post.
I watched your socials.
It's gonna be pretty cool. I thought we were there too. I'm like,
That sounded like bed music. Gary Jones, you missed the weather report, my friend. But Tuesday and beyond looks really, really good. Today, tomorrow's not bad. But tomorrow night's going to get breezy. Tomorrow afternoon through Monday. Monday's not looking great. But not too rough to disrupt our Sunday 39-hour.
Tastiest flavors of Florida. Look for the sunny, fresh from Florida logo where you shop and find delicious, refreshing recipes for what's in season at followfreshfromflorida.com.
The Florida Department of Agriculture. Check the mail for Valpak, and you could be an instant winner. That's right. Tucked in with the
Valpak, that's still a thing?
oh yeah.
That's crazy. I remember when we advertised with them back in the day.
We used to do the flyer.
Yeah.
The flyer used to go out.
Direct mail, man. I thought about it the other day because I've been walking way too much.
Right.
And I was like, dude, I should print some flyers. And while I'm walking around, I should just put flyers on people's doors. I was like, nah, I would hate that if I came home and saw a flyer on my door. It always makes me angry. I almost personally avoid that business because it pisses me off. And it's just trash all over the place. Oh, that's a tropical storm now.
Is it?
Yeah.
And it's headed out of the Gulf?
Yeah. Cool. It's always cool when our fishermen are out there fishing in tropical systems. Tropical storm Arlene. Where's my phone? It actually doesn't look that bad today off our
Monday looks a
close
little,
area.
Monday looks a little grouchy. Monday's got me a little concerned.
Yeah. Well, as that thing makes its way out of the Gulf, the pressure ridge is going to cause that.
Yeah, I gotta fish Monday morning. I'm not looking forward to that. Especially on what's already been a horrible bite. Thanks, Mother Nature.
Refreshing to hear.
Fresh from Florida produce, as fresh as fresh can get.
And if we're going to freshen up daily meals, it's refreshing to know that locally grown fresh from Florida produce is available year-round.
Well, that's a breath of fresh air. Got anything else?
I'm fresh out. Look for Fresh from Florida where you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Looking for the Bay Area's premier family boating
Come on.
source? Look no further than Pro Marine Performance Center.
Show me something good.
Tell me something good. They sell new and used boats, including Seahawk, and specialize in repowers and are Yamaha and Mercury certified warranty center with over 1 million parts in stock to
6:30,
keep you
6
moving.
a.m.
They have in-house financing and truly make
6,
buying a
7.
boat an enjoyable experience. Whether you're a first
Oh, baby.
or seasoned skipper, let my friends at Pro Marine Performance Center handle all
Look like we might be pretty rain-free.
today.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Here we go.
Why'd it get quiet? That was weird.
Want to put a quick shout out to our good friends at Affordable Roofing Systems. Whether you need a shingle, metal tile, or a flat roof, our friends at Affordable Roofing Systems are your safest choice for repair or replacements. You can call them today. Get a free estimate at 1-888-397-ROOF or visit them online at affordableroofingflorida.com. I've got some more good news for you. Our good friends down at Gator Jim's Fishing Tackle, rocking and rolling, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive. You know they've been a partner here on the Saturday morning show for many, many years now. Nobody does tackle like Jim Bickle and the good people at Gator Gyms. How about this deal? Penn Pursuits. So it's the reel, the Penn Pursuit reels, 3,000s, 4,000s, 5,000s, and 6,000s, $50 a piece.
Dude, it's crazy.
Nobody does that, dude.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Then they added Fenor Tidal rods. Buy one, get one for $130.
Yeah,
so
I'm just glad I'm not a tackle shop that has to be in business with Gator Gyms tackle.
Yeah, you just.
I'm glad I'm partnered with them, not working against them.
No doubt.
It's crazy what they do.
Their deals are crazy. That Penn Pursuit reel for that price, $50 a piece, it's unbelievable. Fenor makes phenomenal rods. Buy one, get one, $130. You get 2 rods for $130. It's just insanity. So get yourself down to Gator Gyms Fishing Tackle. Again, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive. If you haven't been there, it's a destination. You need to go check it out. Just fishing tackle done like nobody else in the business. It's really that simple.
What's really cool about that place, too, is the guys there are really hooked on fishing, and they know a lot about it. They can really help you out. Plus, just the sheer amount of tackle in that place. And a lot of the tackle's not even on the shelves. If they don't have it, you can ask for it, and a lot of times it's in the back. I mean, they have warehouses full of stuff over there. It's crazy, top to bottom, floor to ceiling. It's packed. Packed
to the gills.
It's crazy.
It really is crazy. It's good stuff.
It's a cool shop.
Let's get some calls in here. If you want to join us, 1-800-969-9352. Let's go to JR and Zephyr Hills, patiently waiting. JR, we appreciate you there hanging on, buddy. What you got for us?
Good morning, Captain Mike and Captain Dylan. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Appreciate you very
Thanks,
much.
man.
I just got into slow pitch jigging.
Nice.
And when I'm able to go offshore, I go out to about from 80 to 120, 25 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some success, and I'm in the middle there with fluorocarbon or mono as a leader on my 30-pound test braid.
Yep.
What would you recommend?
So your setup sounds right. Around 30-pound braid and a 50-pound fluorocarbon leader is what I generally use. Now, slow pitch jigging is more commonly done beyond 100 foot. Where you're fishing 80 to 120 foot, it's a little shallow for slow pitch jigging, so you want to do more of the kind of micro jigging is what they call it. So that like 80 to 120 gram jig. And the trick, the basics of slow pitch jigging is you want to stay as vertical as possible with the lightest possible weight. So if the current's not running real bad, you're anchored up, you can get away with maybe a 40, 50, 60 gram jig. The problem that you run into fishing shallow like that with those lighter weights is you want a bigger jig that's going to present a bigger profile in the water. But in order to get a bigger jig, a lot of times they get heavier.
Heavy, yeah.
So you have to find those specialized micro jigs that are large in size but also are very light. So it gets a little tricky, but I know one of my favorite small ones is called a Drunker's jig. They have it over there at Fisherman's Hut down south. Some really, really cool jigs out there for the micro jigs, but you want a smaller rod, like a Power Zero, something rated in the 50 to 120 gram range as far as rod goes. But it sounds like your setup's there and you're on your way, just figuring out what you're confident in, finding a jig you like, a color you like, and then sticking to it. And it takes practice like anything else. I think slow pitch jigging is a really, really fun way to fish. And it's really cool to go out there and try it and kind of stack it up against the bait. And it's just another iteration. For me, it's like an evolution, right? You get out there, you learn how to fish, you learn the rigs, you learn how to catch them, and then all of a sudden it can get a little bit stale. So switching it up, throwing in some slow pitch jigs is just a new way to do it. And it's very, very addicting.
I think it's good for you to know that had you been anywhere near Dylan when you asked that question, you might have got a hug. Like I saw him kind of glaze over, like he got so happy that you brought in the high-speed jigging thing, dude. He looked like a glazed donut over there. He's like, oh,
slow pitch jigging. It's different.
I take my grandkids out, and they fish with bait.
Yeah,
and I fish with jigs.
And it's a great way to do it, right? Because then you're not worrying about something stealing your bait while you reach over and help the kids. And the only problem is if you put that slow pitch rod in a rod holder to help someone and you get a bite, your rod's done for.
It's done, yes. Yes, sir.
Great call, JR. Great call. We appreciate you listening and hanging on there, brother. Hopefully we helped you out. You bet.
Have a good one, brother.
Thank you. Yes.
Good stuff right there.
First-time
callers.
callers.
You were so happy, buddy.
Love first-time callers.
You were happy.
I'm passionate, man. I
You
like
are
talking about
passionate.
stuff that I like talking about.
I get it. And
Ask about weather. We'll talk there, too.
You do like weather talk.
I do.
We got Boca Grande tarpon conversation here. Alan in St. Pete. Alan, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Yeah, Mike, how are you this morning?
I'm good. Fantastic. What's going on, buddy?
Just was itching last week to fish, and fortunately I had a trip planned already down at Boca Grande, just a quick trip for just all day on Sunday.
Nice.
And we did okay. Stuck 3, landed 2, but the one that got away wasn't our fault. Just that craziness on a weekend down there. Just our fish got too close to somebody else's fish, and my fish. Of course, it was my fish, but I got 3 jumps out of it in close quarters. About jumped into somebody else's boat, so it was exciting. Most excited in 2 minutes you can have with the clothes on.
Were you were you fishing with a crab or with a jig?
Live crabs with my good buddy Dave Dennison, great captain.
Oh yeah, I know David well. He knows what he's doing down there. Yeah, Dave and I were down there together for years. Yeah.
I heard it's still been a crab bite. Yeah, still crabbing.
Yeah, there's a little bit of both going on still. A lot of jigs, a lot of crabs, but that crab bite's been pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yep.
The last 2 days, when we were down there, the morning was better bite, but the last 2 days, the afternoon bite has been hot. I think he went 6 for 6 yesterday.
Well, that's because of that. That's because of the full moon. You're on the crab flush. Those crabs are flushing out of there. Those fish stage. It's interesting. I was tarpon fishing this week, and it was interesting that all the fish that we ran into on the beach, whenever you get close to your moon phases, all those fish are headed towards the nearest pass because they're trying to get in that pass for that crab flush. So it set itself up well, except for Mother Nature didn't want us to fish the evening trips this week, apparently, because we had weather. So she's my jackwagon of the week, for sure. Boogered up my favorite tides.
I just got the boat back from my boat was down for a few weeks at Mahoney's to get some much-needed trailer work done. But I got it back on Thursday. I got to work the weekend, so Monday it's on.
Well, good luck.
I'm going to go do something. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something.
It's going to be breezy out there, Alan, so be careful, buddy. But good to hear your voice. I'm glad you had a good trip down there. It's good.
Yes, sir. I was just curious, Mike, the previous caller, 2 callers ago, was talking about ICAST. Always wanted to go. Is that open to the public? Is that something you can get tickets to, or do you pretty much have to be in the industry to get in there?
Yeah, it's technically a buyer's show. I mean, that's really what it is. Yeah, it's turned into a little bit of a circus because of Florida. It was much better, in my opinion, when it was out in Vegas. It was more of a pain in the butt for the Florida guys because we had to go to Vegas, which is not my favorite place to be. But it's there's too many people in there, but it's not, unfortunately, open to the public. They just give away too many tickets, in my opinion.
So you have to be part of the industry, and it's a little tricky to get in.
Right. Well, might have to get one of you 2 to deputize me.
Well, there you go. I was going to say, don't you know people? I mean, if you walk up in your uniform, they're going to let you in probably. They'd be like, well, you know what you do is I'll let you know what day Mahoney's going, and then you can show up with a warrant for Mahoney's arrest, and you can say he's in the show.
Yeah, there you go.
It's funny you say that because when I was picking up the boat, there was a Tampa PD officer was buying some stuff, and I said, Mike, you didn't pay your tickets again? He goes, no, when they come to get me, they bring 3 of them.
They pack a lunch.
I'll tell you what, Mahoney's smart, way smarter than he looks. I will tell people that for sure because I'm by there often, and there's a lot of law enforcement that hangs out there. Mahoney's no dummy. He's made friends with law enforcement all over, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know the old call a friend deal? Yeah, Mahoney's got a whole list of those on his friends list. There's no doubt. So
you're in law enforcement? Special discount.
I was talking to Brett while I was picking up the boat back back there and looked down, and here's a 308 casing sitting in the ground, and I'm like, picked it up and looked at it, and I looked at Brett, and I said, he said, well, sometimes, the locals, I said, man, come on now. The locals ain't shooting Hornady 308.
Right. That's
probably shouldn't have touched that shell casing. Hopefully you were wearing gloves.
No doubt. Alan, great call, brother. Good to hear your voice, my friend.
All right. You guys have a great day.
See you, buddy.
Too. It always leads that direction with Mahoney. I don't know why. So interesting.
Entertainment purposes only.
Right, exactly.
He's not here to say it, so I'll say it for him.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting show tomorrow. We've got the whole band together. So our boy Captain Ben Marshall, speaking of Mahoney's, had a big tire blowout on him.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's his trailer was at Mahoney's. It's at Mahoney's right now, getting some work done to it. So
brutal.
Putting new tires on and all that. It's why we preach early in the year to do that stuff, when you have weather, it's February, it's January, and it's cold, and you're not using your boat. That's the time of the year to get that stuff into Mahoney's when it's not packed. Right now, it's we can get to you in 3 weeks, and you're mad because you got fishing trips scheduled. You got to get in there and get that stuff taken care of early.
Yeah, you got to be on top of your preventative maintenance.
Yeah,
for
there's
sure.
no doubt. Speaking of that slow pitch jigging, so the high speed jig and the slow pitch, two totally different deals. Huh?
Yeah, so high-speed jigging is something that's always been popular in our area, like with the diamond jigs, right? And that's something I did when I was a kid, and one of my favorite styles of fishing back then. Fishing for amberjack, you got a diamond jig on this big broomstick rod, and you're just working that jig as hard and fast as you can all the way up through the water column. And it was a lot quicker. You're a lot more, the rod movement is a lot faster. Your rod didn't really matter as much. You were just basically trying to jerk that jig up and down through the water column as quickly as possible, and just making it bounce. And that flashy, quick appearance will make something like a pelagic fish or an amberjack react. Whereas slow pitch jig fishing is totally different. It's a much more methodical, slower movement to your rod. You have to have a specialized rod that loads and recoils and puts the action on the jig, and the jigs are asymmetrical. That's a big thing, is they don't match. The sides are different shapes and profiles, and they tend to flutter or slide in the water, and it's a slower fall. And that slower fall, just like inshore fishing with your soft plastic paddle tails, you get bit on the fall, right?
Right, a lot, yeah.
And that's the idea with these slow pitch jigs, is it's falling more slowly, it's fluttering more erratically, and it's allowing for more species to interact with that bait.
It sounds like deep water guys fly fishing.
It's exactly what it is. That's exactly what I've said in previous live shows and previous seminars.
Yeah.
It's essentially like fly fishing. And the same thing inshore, right? Is you inshore fishing, you're fishing from a pier to start with your Walmart rigs, and then you learn, all right, I need fluorocarbon. Then you start fishing from a kayak. Then you have a boat. Then you are a guide or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is boring, I'm going to start fly fishing.
Right.
And it's a totally different ball game, and then you learn all about that, and it's just a different evolution, like you said.
Yeah.
And I think slow pitch jig fishing is the same thing offshore. It's just, you've been there, you've done it, you've seen it, now you're trying something new.
It was just hysterical to me because it just, you glazed over, dude. Like glazed.
It's a cool fishery, man.
No,
it's really
I
fun.
get it. I've heard you talk about it before. I've seen you light up at ICAST walking around when we walk by some slow pitch jig booth, and there's 8 million jigs and stuff.
It puts me at least in a different stance. I'm an almost novice newbie. I'm learning myself, so it's a different aspect.
I get it. When you're in this business for a long time, as you come onto these different kinds of fishing that you get interested in, because it's cool. Yeah, no doubt. It's good stuff. Phone lines open, 1-800-969-9352, 970 WFLA. Light them up. We'll be back. Having trouble finding a plumber or an electrician?
This is what we do here.
I was trying to figure out how to say, I imagine that's the way that Dylan watches porn. Because he was just like...
Fishing porn.
That's what I did. I called Nigel Kerwin one day from the Lightning. He's like, oh, dude, I'm in my office. So weird that you called me. I'm looking at this. I can't remember what boat it was. Some giant, expensive-ass boat. I'm like, So basically, you're sitting in your office with your door closed, looking at boat porn.
Yeah.
He busted up laughing.
I think he's talking to us.
I missed that whole thing.
Yeah.
We missed that whole thing. Run that by me again. I told Dylan just a second ago.
Doing a jig.
I was trying to figure out how to put it in there politely. That I imagine that's how the look on Dylan's face was. I imagine the way he looks at porn, like he just looked like, what did he say?
What did he bring up?
In the moments that he gets so excited, like. No doubt. Oh my God. So funny, dude.
Monster Jam. Monster Jam's coming back?
I guess.
Dude, it was fun. I went for the first time last time they were here. It was bad to the bone,
Was
dude.
it? Loud, right?
Loud, but it was cool. The kids had a lot of fun. My son Jack's eyes were like glazed over the whole time. He was like,
I'm sure.
yeah, it was fun.
That's such a cool name, Jax.
And it was cheap, dude. Like
Was it?
really, really good seats were pretty cheap. They were nominal. Like it was $180 for my wife, myself, and my son to go there, and we were like third row back.
Oh wow.
It's nuts. So we're definitely doing that again. That was fun.
Nice. Do they serve beer there?
Yeah, it's Raymond James, so they have beer,
I haven't been.
but it's expensive.
I assume it's loud.
It's very loud,
Yeah.
but it's not as loud as you would think. Like everybody, I brought my earmuffs, my shooting earmuffs, and I didn't end up wearing them. I just, I had them on in the beginning, and then I took them off and was just
It's not
enjoying
that
the noise of the motors. It's not as bad as you would think.
The Hubbard's plug.
The best cheeseburger on the Gulf.
Mark Mahoney.
Mark is funny.
He is funny.
Dude, the sound is killing me. It keeps vacillating. The sound, it keeps vacillating up and down. I was messing with my earphones on the last segment. I had to turn them up.
Huh.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
Free iHeartRadio app now.
This is the Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show, presented by Hubbard's Marina. Now your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
Welcome back. So if you haven't made the trip yet to Costa Rica to fish,
Ooh, that's coming up again.
it is, yeah. So the Real Animals team is headed back to the Zancudo Lodge. It's on the west coast of Costa Rica, about 20, 30 miles north of the Panamanian border. Fantastic place. It's on the Gulf of Dulce. Incredible. It's only got 24 rooms. Dylan's been there. Dylan's whole family.
Food is awesome.
The food's ridiculous.
Food is awesome.
March 11th through the 15th, 2024. Now, you could stay longer if you want, but we're going to fly in on the 11th. Travel to Costa Rica is extensive. It's not crazy, but we usually fly out of Orlando, fly into San Jose, take the puddle jumper over the mountains, which is an amazing little hour flight.
Amazing, because that plane was loaded with you, myself, my father, and we're going over these little mountains in this tiny, tiny plane with very large people.
Dropping.
It's like, are we going to make it? I don't think this motor has enough juice.
Right.
But we did.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
It's a 12-passenger with 18 weight of people in there. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was fun. It's a cool trip.
It's a cool trip. It really is a cool trip. So if you want to join us, give us a call, 1-866-GAME-FISH. You can call me directly. It comes right to my cell phone. Reach out to me, DM me. A lot of you guys know how to get a hold of me, guys and gals. We've got some cool people going already. We have some couples going. As a matter of fact, right now it's all couples. So we almost had Paul Ranger, the old the Lightning defenseman. Paul is Paul and I are very, very close. And Paul was coming to join us. Him and some of his buddies who I've met several times, which would have made the trip very interesting, as you can imagine. Would have made it very interesting. But he's having some. He's actually going back to school, and he's got exams that week, so he couldn't do it that week. But his group is going just ahead of us. I like the 11th through the 15th because we're going to be there on the new moon. Greg Muffson, the owner out there, is always trying to get me to come on the full moon. I'm like, nope, I'm smarter than that. I'm not coming out there on the full moon. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm like, I hear you. We're coming on the new moon. I like the new moon. So if you want to join us, I've got pricing. It's a fantastic trip of a lifetime. A lot of the people that have gone on trips with us there before have gone back. I was just talking to Greg the other day, and some people who have been to other locations in Costa Rica and then seen the shows that we've done from Zancudo, they tend to go to Zancudo now because it's just, and if you go to
beautiful place.
If you go to waypointtv.com, waypointtv.com, and go to the Real Animals shows there, I got almost seven seasons of shows up there. You can go through and see the shows that we've shot at Zancudo with the roosters and the tuna and the sails, marlin there. It's just on Matapalo Rock is something everyone should see. It's a beautiful place. So
you can watch his wife Beth out fishing.
Yeah, she's gonna. Yeah, that's what you'll see on those shows. Thank you, Dylan. For bringing that up. I was doing so good. Got the sleeveless on today, feeling all.
He was
manly.
feeling good. I
was feeling good. And Dylan went and whacked me like a puppy on the nose.
I'm here to help, bud.
Always good for the old ego check. I get with Dylan in the morning. It's all good. Good stuff for sure. There's no doubt about it. Again, phone lines are open. 1-800-969-9352. Again, if you want to go to Costa Rica, give us a shout. Let's get on the list. We got 6 of us going right now, and I'm sure that list will grow. So we'd love to have you come join us. We'll be back.
The preceding program was paid for by Real Animals Fishing.
Casting live from the Farah and Farah Accident Attorney Studios. WFLA Tampa, WXTV.
God, my hip is killing me. Motherfucker.
Dude, if you, one of my favorites is if you sit down in your chair and put your leg up on your other leg and then just lean forward really slow.
I do that on the ground.
But you can do that in your chair and stretch while you're
sense.
talking. And you can do it that way, too.
It's weird because it's almost like I've been to my massage therapist twice.
Yeah.
I cannot get it loose, dude.
Yeah, it's really hard to get it loose.
I can normally I can touch my toes.
Yeah.
Like I can't get halfway down my shins.
Yeah.
And it's all on this one side.
Yeah, it's tight on that one side.
Oh, truck.
You just gotta keep stretching, and then my favorite thing is you get like lacrosse ball is the best one. A lacrosse ball, and you set it on the ground, and you just roll your ass all over that thing till it finally loosens up.
It's a knot in my ass, and it's affecting my whole hamstring.
Yeah. Yeah. It's right in this one area.
Yes.
And if you get that lacrosse ball in there, dude, it'll take your breath away. And I was doing it last night. I just sat there for 5 minutes and breathed and stretched. It's brutal.
I even stretched good before that. I think it's because I drove that morning. Well, 2 things probably. I was probably a little dehydrated, and then I drove. And
you drove without stretching before?
Well, I drove, but then I stretched good at the ballpark. Like I stretched before I did anything, and I was playing second base, and the ball got hit in the hole, and I literally reached this way.
Yeah.
And just tweaked it, and I'm like, and I didn't get to it. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's weird. And it just kept getting worse. And then I got really dehydrated because it was hot as balls in Cape Coral.
Yeah.
And I got super dehydrated. And I don't know.
For me, if I don't drink enough water or don't stretch, I'm screwed.
Yeah, well, stretching to me is like
it's
I
mandatory.
do it every day. I do it every day.
Twice a day.
I
remember when I was younger, it was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It was one of the first times I was co-hosting with you. And you were like, oh, I can't wait to get to the gym and stretch. I was like, what is he talking about? That's weird. And now it's like I feel that same way. If I don't stretch in the morning, my whole day is messed up.
That's the best. Love
the other day, my son and I were wrestling, and he like went to hit something. And he like almost got me in the nuts, and I like quickly moved. And when I oddly moved to avoid the nut shot, my whole lower back, like kind of like tweaked. I was like, oh. Is that going to do it? But luckily it didn't.
Well, it only gets worse, D.
Yeah.
I'm about to tell you, it only gets worse.
Yeah.
We have a softball tournament after ICAST. So after walking for 3 days.
That'll be fun.
Oh, I can't even imagine. My feet will be so sore.
Alan McCuller said, check out Stretch Zone here in St. Peter, Dunedin. Have you heard about those places?
I have.
So I just went to one. Stretch Zone and Stretch Lab are the two we have in St. Pete. I chose Stretch Lab because it's really close to my house. It was bad to the bone.
Yeah.
I got a membership.
I heard it's amazing. Did you?
Yeah. So I went and got a massage and then went to that stretch place, and I was like, oh, I feel like $1 million.
I don't know. I might have to try that on Tuesday.
The Stretch Lab place is cool.
There's one in Brandon, too. I might have to just see if they can stretch it out. I don't know. My fear is that you'll make it worse.
I don't think it ever makes it worse, in my experience.
A couple of my big gym buddies that I've talked to about it said they went and they were sore for 3 days.
Oh, it'll make you sore. Yeah, because they stretch you out hard in ways that you haven't stretched yourself.
Right,
because you can't stretch yourself. But just drink enough water and you'll be fine. I drank like 2 gallons of water that day, and then a gallon and a half the next day.
Stretch?
Yeah, and I wasn't as sore. And protein. You eat plenty of protein. Glutamine is the big trick. I'd take a ton of glutamine with the protein. That really helps soreness.
I don't stay sore very long usually unless I do something new, which this is screwing up my damn lunges.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do my lunges, and I don't think that's helping either because I think that loosens up my hips.
Yeah.
But I might have to do that. I might have to go to the Stretch Zone in Brandon on Tuesday.
It's pretty cool.
Maybe Monday.
The only thing bad about that place is it's like the old school gyms where they like hard sell you on the membership. It's like, oh yeah, you can come here and do your stretch, but then you got to do this, and it's got to be a Tuesday with a blue moon for you to cancel, and it's a little annoying. That was the only downside.
Big O. Loosen it up on the Peloton.
Don't you have a Peloton?
I do.
Yeah.
Dude,
that thing will loosen your hip up.
It hurts so bad.
Yeah. My hips were hurting bad before I started riding that Peloton 6 days a week.
William Keane said re-age instead of re-roof. Re-age. Exactly right.
Yeah, ice. I don't know. I feel like ice always makes my muscle tightness worse. I like heat, muscle tightness.
I think if I'm not wrong, it's ice in the first hour or two of hurting yourself, and then it's heat.
Yeah,
I think, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm normally sore, but damn, this thing is terrible.
Yeah.
Parent company, iHeartMedia Incorporated.
Welcome to the Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show, your weekly voyage into Florida fishing. Presented by Hubbard's Marina, hosted by Captain Mike Anderson and Captain Dylan Hubbard.
Welcome back. Again, this Tuesday night, June 6th, we're going to be at Bartow Ford for the Bartow Ford Real Animals Fishing Conversation. Our good friend Dana at Silver Ring Cafe out there in Riverview going to be serving up some free food. We've got goodies from Ingo Coolers, Bull Bay Rods, and we got some Real Animal swag to give away. Going to be talking tarpon and snook on the beach, answering all your questions. So a lot of times the fishing conversation, we try to lead it one way and it ends up a whole nother way. So hopefully, as long as it's not slow pitch jigging, we'll be fine. Because
I'll be at a golf council meeting.
It's not my. You got a golf council meeting this week?
Yeah, it's gonna be super fun.
Lucky
it's
you.
in Mobile, Alabama, so I'm not going. I want to go, but unfortunately, due to constraints with red snapper season and just life in general. And the one positive thing that kind of came out of COVID was the fact that they really worked hard to make it easier to virtually interact with the council process. So now you don't have to be there really at the golf council to even give public comment anymore. So it's pretty nice that you can attend virtually, participate virtually, and still give comment virtually as well. The downside is you don't get that after hours in break time to interact with fellow council members. And I got invited to a pretty important lunch meeting that unfortunately I won't be able to make, but it's just, you got to balance everything, right?
Yeah.
We have a kids camp coming Monday that we're running at the Marina. We got a bunch of stuff going on, so there's no way I can make it up there, but I will be in the meeting, and it's in Central Time, so that means they're an hour behind us. So that meeting Tuesday night, I don't think ends until 8 p.m. our time because they have a Q&A after. So I'll be sitting in a virtual meeting during the Bartow Ford Real Animals radio show, or fishing conversation.
Yeah,
you knew what I meant.
I do. I knew what you meant. Well, hopefully it'll be a good one. Hopefully everybody will come on out there and join us 6 to 8 p.m. out at Bartow Ford there. Come on out and see us. Let's get our Milwaukee Tool Safe Boating Tip of the Weekend here. Captain Jim Fogel, U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary Captain Extraordinaire. Captain Jim Fogel joins us. Jimmy, what's up, buddy?
Oh, you guys are up. Sounded really, really, really good show this morning. I want to give a shout out to the Coast Guard for last weekend, Memorial Day weekend. They were busy, busier than I have ever heard of. There may be higher statistics somewhere, but those guys definitely earned their money last weekend. They were busting it. I mean, they were frequently out doing something and saving people. I mean, they did an incredible job last weekend. And I think our man Dylan might have experienced some of that.
A little bit. It was definitely a little memorable for us. I mean, unfortunately, things do occur while we're out there sometimes. And we had a guest on our boat on a half-day trip had a little bit of a cardiac issue. And the Coast Guard was quick to react. We got a full escort back to Johns Pass. We were close to shore on a half-day trip. We were only about 11 to 12 miles from Johns Pass, and the cardiac incident wasn't such that required a helo evac, and it wasn't such where they were going to evacuate her boat to boat. So they just had us run back at speed on our party boat, which isn't super fast, but it was interesting. We had a convoy of U.S. Coast Guard small boats. We had FWC. We had the fire, Madeira Beach Fire. We had the Pinellas County Sheriff. I mean, it was a convoy of boats and sirens.
Oh, yeah.
If you hadn't known better, you'd have thought Mahoney was somewhere involved.
It was interesting. And they cleared Johns Pass. So when those sort of emergencies happen, they clear Johns Pass and they make everybody go to the side or get off the water. So the boat came flying through the bridge at speed, didn't slow down, came up, and then got right into the slip in like a minute. It was crazy how fast it all happened, and it was impressive. It was impressive all the way around. And the Coast Guard had a video. I'm trying to find it so we can put it in the stream, and I'll find it eventually. It's kind of hard to do while we're talking, but in the Coast Guard Sector St. Petersburg Facebook page, they posted the video from the gentleman who actually boarded the boat, and they do it at speed. So their small boat comes up while we're running, and they come up and board the boat at speed. It was pretty interesting. He jumps over the side of the boat. So they have it all on their Facebook page. It's pretty cool to see.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It kind of goes to show you how quickly they can get on your boat.
Yeah, right.
It was interesting.
No doubt. Interesting. Yeah, well, you know what? And they're really unsung heroes.
Very much
a lot of
so.
times we don't think about, we don't think about, very similar, in my opinion, to the Coast Guard Auxiliary with all the great things that the Coast Guard Auxiliary does for people.
Yeah.
You pull up to a boat ramp and you see the auxiliary there, and a lot of people get all uptight and all bent out of shape, and they're just there to help you.
Yeah, and it's really nice to be able to have that safety blanket of the Coast Guard always having our backs. And we have a lot of safety equipment. We follow Captain Jim Fogel's suggestions, and we go above and beyond what's required. But there are situations like health issues, like cardiac issues that present themselves while we're offshore, and there's nothing we could do about that. You got to call someone, and the Coast Guard with their helicopters, with their small boats, they are on scene in a mind-bendingly short amount of time, and they can either evac people if they need to, or help us, guide us in the right direction. So it's always nice.
Impressive bunch for sure.
It also outlined how many other organizations were out also promoting safety and being there if somebody needs them last weekend. With all the different assets you had helping you get back in.
Oh yeah.
That was a good example of everybody that's available at times. But that's why we keep saying make sure you've got your radio that you can broadcast a need for help. And a lot of times it's going to be your fellow boaters that respond, and eventually, and usually pretty quickly, all the assets out there are going to try to help. But sometimes they're busy somewhere else, and they just can't get there in the next 10 minutes. And your fellow boaters are going to be available to help you. But thankfully, we had a good result on your boat there, Dylan.
Yes, yeah, very, very good outcome, and it's always nice to have the backup.
It's good stuff. Good stuff, Jim Fogel.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for what y'all do and for helping me out to get the word out. And for the Coast Guard Auxiliary and St. Peter's, Jim Fogel, be safe out there.
Thanks, partner. Always a great part of the show. Our Safe Boating Tip is brought to you by our good friends at Milwaukee Tool. It's just MilwaukeeTool.com. It's real simple. If you're out there looking around, they're helping us out.
Do we have a caller?
We do.
All right.
What?
I have a cool story about the Coast Guard.
All right. Well, I want to talk about it, but we've got a couple of callers here, and it's going to be we're going to talk to Donald in Lutz first,
and Jackwagon. Don't forget that.
And then we're going to talk to Hall of Famer.
Oh, Hall of Famer. She's on the line.
Yeah, she's on the line.
It's that time of year, dog.
It is. It's CCA Star Tournament.
Star Tournament is on, so the Hall of Famer has to call us.
It's right.
I love it.
When she's obligated to speak to us. Because otherwise you got to make an appointment.
Yes.
You can't just get to Hall of Famers. Once they reach that level, then you got to talk to their people.
Yeah.
I used to call her, and you
now
could get
her people obligate her.
Yeah, her people are like, we'll see if she'll get back to you. It's great. It's crazy. Donald, how are you, buddy?
Good morning, guys. Everything is great. Hey, a few Saturdays ago on the 20th, I actually got to do a tarpon trip that Mike Mahoney had pulled my name for a contest. Got to go out with Brett Norris and hooked into about an 80-pounder. Fought it for about 20 minutes.
Nice.
It did its leaps, and that was a lot of fun. It did spit the hook after that, but you know what? I got to fight a big tarpon, and it was exciting.
You got the best part. You got the best part of it. If you get that 20 minutes of show, and then they spit the hook, you're like, "Woo, that's perfect." You don't have to do that whole drag it to the boat thing. Good, yeah, that's cool. Brett Norris is a great tarpon fisherman. He's a great fisherman, period. But he's a really, really good tarpon fisherman, and that bite's been red hot.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It felt like we were just out there, like a couple of buddies out there, like when you and I were out there. So a lot of fun.
Yeah, good stuff.
Last Saturday, Star started. CCA got a bunch of fish in the conservation division. I went out again on Wednesday. Got nice trout in the open, 20-inch trout. That was cool.
Nice. That's
awesome,
a good starter. There's a good starter.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All on artificials.
Nice.
So I'm on the board for to win something. So it's very cool.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff, Donald.
Way to start strong.
Yeah, CCA Star is just so awesome. If you're fishing and not a member, shame on you.
I agree.
It doesn't make sense.
I agree. It's been my mantra. I imagine it'll come up at the fishing conversation on Tuesday night. I always do a check to see how many CCA members we have and talk about the Star Tournament and all that good stuff. So it's on.
I'm going to be down in West Palm Beach for work this week, so I won't be able to make that, which It's like, oh man. So, but I'm bringing my fishing rod with me because I'm going to be down there for a few days. So
Good.
I'm going to bring my rod, some baits, my measuring device, and I'm going to hit the beach when I'm not working because I can only work till 5. So which is cool. So after that, I'm going down to the beach and see what I can find.
Well, give us a report, brother. We look forward to hearing from you, Donald. You the man. Let me jump on with Lisa here and see what she's got going on. But we appreciate you. Good luck.
You take care.
All right, partner.
See you.
All right.
See you, bud.
Good stuff right there for sure. Now let's go to the
Hall of Famer.
The Hall of Fame. We're gonna have to come up with some. We need some music or something for when Lisa calls.
Intro song.
Some intro. She should have her own intro.
Like the WWE wrestler.
I have a walk-up song.
Yeah, that's a walk-up song. That's what you need.
I do. I have a walk-up song.
Have your people get with our people. Wait, we don't have people. Have your people get with us.
Right, exactly.
I don't have people.
Oh.
Mike knows whenever I get a phone call, I answer it myself.
I'm shocked every time, actually, because I'm like, wow, it's special.
Takes your breath away.
It does, because she's a Hall of Famer.
Oh,
so,
well, you know, I appreciate you guys. I'm always so humbled whenever you guys say that. I just go, oh, my God, is that for real? That's me?
That's you, girl.
So,
yes, ma'am. That's you.
Well, thank you. You know, I heard Donald earlier, and I just have to say, Star is off to a big bang. Again, the biggest payout of boats, and we have a package that includes a Sea-Doo and a Can-Am Defender. So if someone already has a boat, they have the opportunity to pick up the Sea-Doo Trophy and a Can-Am Defender. And if you don't have a boat and you catch a tagged redfish, you can win a Contender, a Pathfinder, a Deck Cat, a Carolina Skiff. There are so many great prizes and potentially $50,000 cash if you catch the Alta Equipment Superstar tagged redfish. So, I mean, if you're out fishing and you are not registered and in the competition, as Donald said, shame on you. Already we've had 4 star tagged redfish recaptured. Unfortunately, those 4 were recaptured prior to the start of the tournament. And the weird thing is only one of them was reported to us. The other 3 we found out via social media. But, you know, there is the opportunity to catch them.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, Mike, you and I know this. Dylan, you know this. Your offshore people can enter any species of fish that they catch offshore.
Oh, yeah.
Any species of you catch inshore. We have the grouper, kingfish, dolphin divisions. We have snook, trout, and non-tagged redfish. There's so many different ways to win in Star, and it's so inexpensive to participate.
Yeah,
it's really a no-brainer to me. I've said it for years. If you're gonna fish all summer anyway, people.
Yeah, it's
Why
the
not
cheapest
help out?
fishing tournament
you
there
can
is.
double dip in. You can double dip in everything. They have trash competitions coming up. If you're fishing the King of the Beach tournament, you can enter your kingfish not only in the King of the Beach but also in Star. If you're picking up trash in any of the trash competitions for, you know, World Oceans Day, you can enter that in Star. I have, Dylan, I'm going to see you Saturday the 10th, right? At Sergio's event?
Yes. I was like confused for a second, but yes, Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
I get to hang out with you. That's awesome.
Well, at this kids event, all the fish that the kids get, they can enter into the Youth Scholarship Division presented by Real Tree Fishing. There's $100,000 in college scholarships. Parents, if you're listening, if you were wondering how you were going to take the edge off of college education for your kids, there's 2 $25,000 scholarships available. All you got to do is take the kids fishing this summer.
Tell everybody real quick how they can enter. I'm up against the break here, so we want to make sure everybody knows how to get in.
Go to our website at ccaflorida.com. ccaflorida.org and get registered. I'm sorry, that's ccaflorida.com, or give us a call over the phone, 844-387-7827, and we will register you right over the phone. It's simple and inexpensive.
You're the best, Hall of Famer. We appreciate you.
All right. Well, thank you, guys.
All right.
All right.
Talk soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, it's
Good
only,
stuff.
It's only $80 for adults and $40 if you're a member, and then $10 for kids if you're not a member, free if you are a member. So
It's
super cheap.
It's the best deal in fishing. It really is, and it's just good for everything. So, John Momoa, thanks for letting us stretch that one out. We appreciate you. We'll be back 970 WFLA.
Hi, I'm Pastor Jeff Shreve, and I invite you to follow me as we pursue wisdom and pray.com.
I didn't want her to hang on through the break if I could help it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were going to kind of be that long-winded, but we were. We didn't have any other callers either, so I thought, well, if the next segment's short,
yeah,
it is what it is. We got some stuff I need to plug anyway. Oh, God. You motherfucker.
Now I'm getting people calling me about my favorite jigs.
Are they?
Yeah.
What's your favorite jig?
The Drunker. It's hard to find.
Is it?
Yeah, only one shop has it, Fisherman's Hut, and apparently they're not able to get them anymore.
Oh no. Who's the manufacturer?
It's all like Japanese stuff. It's all like crazy. Half the stuff you can't read the label.
Wow.
And a lot of like the cool stuff you have to order from like very questionable websites. You're like not sure if they're gonna steal your identity or not. Like half of it's not even in English. It's really like this one guy came to my Bass Pro fishing conversation, and he had the coolest rod and the coolest reel. Like I had to ask him what these buttons were on this reel because I had never seen something like this before. It was a custom JDM OSHA jigger, and so it's like a Japanese only model. You can only get it in Japan. And so he was in the military, and his buddy's stationed over there in Japan. So his buddy buys the fishing tackle and ships it to him.
No kidding.
So he gets all the fishing tackle, like the rod and the reel that he had, you couldn't buy here in the United States. You couldn't even buy it online. Wow. So his buddies are buying it for him and shipping it to him. Because they've been slow pitch jig fishing in Japan for like 30, 40 years. Japan, Australia, they've been doing it for a long time. Did you see that kid who caught the swordfish from shore?
What?
Yeah, down south. And I think it was Australia or New Zealand or something. Caught like a pretty nice sized swordfish from the coast, from a rocky outcropping on the reef. Yeah. It's the second one that's been caught like in the last 6 months from shore. It's crazy. Imagine that.
That's insanity.
Yeah, man. Yeah, when I get on TikTok, it's just nothing but like really wild fishing videos from across the world.
Really? Mine's almost all comedians.
Yeah, it's amazing how it picks up on what you watch.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, mine's comedians and fishing videos.
It's crazy. Actually.
And some basketball videos.
Mine's a lot of hoops, too. There's Blair Wiggins. I pulled it up. There's Blair. Zach.
Nice. Ugh.
your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
Got a pretty short segment here because we went over there a little bit with our Hall of Famer, Captain Lisa Fitzgerald, talking about the 6a Florida Star Tournament. So I want to put this plug in for affordable roofing systems. Again, shingle, metal, tile, flat. They do them all. Repairs, replace. If you need it, they do it. Integrity, respect, honesty. I fish these people. They're great, great people. And to me, that's important. You know, I do the Titan plumbing stuff, Joe Gennaro, his family. It's the same thing with affordable roofing systems. People that I trust, somebody that we can put our name behind. You can definitely put your name behind affordable roofing systems. Super good people. Give them a call today, 1-888-397-ROOF. You get a free estimate. Visit them online at affordableroofingflorida.com. We're coming into that season where you don't want that roof to be an issue for sure. So
yeah, you don't want to be re-roofing in hurricane
No,
season.
you don't. I got some cool news this week.
Okay.
About our Coppertail Real Animals Catch beer.
Dude, it's setting the world on fire.
I don't know about setting the world on fire, but we're definitely.
I feel like it's setting Tampa Bay on fire.
We're rocking and rolling a little bit. So
we're big time.
I got a list yesterday. We're at almost 20 Bay Area Publix locations that carry the new Coppertail Real Animals Catch.
Essentially, if you go to a Publix with a big craft beer selection, you're going to see the Real Animals Catch beer.
I was pretty excited when I saw the list yesterday. My good friend Billy G at Pep and Distributing sent it to me, and our good friends down at Hat Tricks who brought it in immediately. They're on South Franklin Street. If you haven't been to Hat Tricks, you should definitely get by there and check out the chicken wings. They're going to have it as the beer of the month in July, which I think is super cool. There's actually quite a few. I shouldn't say quite a few, but there's a handful of bars that have it. There's some quick stops that have it now. Duckweed Urban Grocery on North 12th Street in Tampa has it. But Thanona, Sassa, Valrico, Temple Terrace, it's all over the place. So it's
I love
cool.
that city.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Thanona, Sassa.
Thanona, Sassa.
I can never pronounce it.
It's anyway, it's pretty cool. So get yourself a can of the Real Animals lager.
It's a lime lager. It's really, really interesting.
I don't taste the lime. To me, I can't taste it.
All I know is like my favorite beer is one of my favorite beers, at least, is like either a Yingling or really an amber Dos Equis amber lager with a lime. So when I saw it, I was like, a lager with a lime. That sounds right up my alley.
That's why we did it, kind of a boat beer thing. I really like it. It's excellent. We were at Coppertail Brewing last night, Beth and I. They had a jalapeno smash burger.
Please.
It was.
Let's not go in there.
John Momola's making faces in there too. It was ridiculous. The food at Coppertail Brewing, unbelievable. And they've got the Real Animals Catch on draft. It was excellent for the cold glass.
Brutal. This is like mild torture.
It is. Usually it's just food, but now we're talking beer and food before 8 o'clock in the morning. Beautiful. America. 1-800-969-9352. Light them up. Let's talk
Now we just need to hit on some firearms and we'll be straight.
Right. Have you seen that ad on TikTok for slapdicks?
Our algorithms must be different because I haven't seen the slapdicks thing up.
So funny, dude. It's like a company that does hats and shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's got the patch on it. It says slapdicks. It's hysterical, dude. I have to see if I can find it.
Florida gas prices continue to fall. It's still almost $4 a gallon.
Dude,
how are we celebrating this?
They're idiots, dude. They're so stupid.
Someone yesterday was like, gas is so cheap now. I'm like, what the F are you talking about, bro? 6 years ago, it was under $3 a gallon.
So stupid, dude. They just can't get out of their own way.
Loaded Land Shark beer. Land Shark lager, margarita, lime, tequila. Wow. I used to do that in college. Bacardi, Gold, and Corona. So good.
Loaded Coronas.
Mm-hmm. That was later college when I was a little well off. Early college, it was grain alcohol, Mountain Dew, and Hawaiian Punch. We'd save a little bit of grain alcohol to breathe fire. About 2 a.m. off the balcony. Shows up on time. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
The show flew by. We still haven't done jackwagon.
We should do that.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger the fupa, tastier the chalupa. It's a hat.
Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. Sweet baby Jesus. That is a hat and a half right there. Nice. Big O said I got my boys end of school year rod and reel combos. They did really well. We're tearing the lakes up at the moment.
Nice.
My kids broke their rod and reel combo. We went out on the Hatteras and we caught some cobia and some sharks and some mackerel and some bonita. On the ride home, they were both too tired. They kept grabbing the rods in the middle of the car. I'm like, guys, please stop grabbing the fishing poles. This is why we always take my truck when we take the fishing rod, so I can put the rods in the back away from the kids. Well, we took my wife's car, so the poles are going right between them, and they're grabbing the line and yanking on them. Sure enough, broke it. It's all right. It was a kid's fishing pole. It was inevitably going to break eventually.
Children's. Gotta love children's.
And they broke my Costa sunglasses. Same day. Love my kids. I love them. It was a good run with the Costas.
Welcome back. Last big segment of the show here. Phone lines are open. 1-800-969-9352. So we did not do the jackwagon at 7.
Nope.
I'm all over the weather jackwagon of the year.
The jackwagon of the year is the weather.
It's June. We could do a jackwagon of the year. sort of.
How does that work? Wouldn't that be December? The jack wagon.
We could have another one. That way, it gives us more chance to pick on jack wagons.
Oh, I got you.
I was thinking about it on my way in this morning. The number of times between Riverview and Feather Sound that I literally said, "You can't fix stupid" driving here this morning was ridiculous this morning. It was off the hook.
How are there that many people on the road over there?
I was wondering the same thing. And how is it that there's only that many people on the road and that many that are stupid?
I think I saw like 6 cars on my way here.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Huh.
I was in total shock.
I'm so zoned out when I'm not zoned out. I'm paying attention to the road, but like I'm thinking about other things and listening to a podcast or something. It's like anybody could be doing anything in front of me. I'm not going to hit them because I'm paying attention, but it doesn't bother me.
No. Yeah. It doesn't bother me either. I drive vocally.
Oh, I can tell.
I don't want it inside. My wife's like, why do you know these people are out here? Why do they upset you? I'm like, I'm not upset. I let it go. I told the guys
I speak it into the
he's
universe.
A complete moron, and he should never be allowed to drive again. They should.
He
take
didn't
his
hear
license.
me, but at least I got it out.
It felt better.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway,
that's one attitude to have.
My jackwagon is definitely Mother Nature right now because Mother Nature boogered.
Sounds
up
like it's drivers.
She boogered up the week.
I'm kind of enjoying the cooler weather.
I like the cooler weather too, but I needed
the weather.
We had full
in general,
moon,
I agree, has been negative.
Yeah, full moon, outgoing tide. These evening storms really kind of boogered it up a little bit.
It's been raining all day, bro. What do you mean about evening?
I have got my morning trips in.
Well, it's been raining offshore all day.
Yeah, offshore. Well.
And watch yourself.
Sure will. I wouldn't do, but I felt bad for the red snapper guys too. I mean, they had these trips booked, and just couldn't hardly get out there.
And what's really tough about that, and what really hurts me, is like these people have red snapper trips booked so far in advance, and the season's booked up. So it's like if you lose a day,
it's hard to
just
get
kind of out of luck,
right.
You know.
No doubt.
So it is definitely sad to see.
Yeah, that's Mother Nature, jackwagon.
But that's part of offshore fishing.
It's part of fishing, period. It's part of life in the outdoors. Speaking of life in the outdoors, you know who's cannot be thrilled about this rain, but must be liking the cooler temps?
TBSE.
Mike
Mesra.
Mike Mesra, Tampa Bay Sporting Clays. Michael, how are you this morning?
You know, and before he launches in, Tampa Bay's Best of the Best has launched. So if you Google Tampa Bay Best of the Best, they have launched their segment where you can vote for the best of Tampa Bay. So Google it, Best of Tampa Bay, tampabay.com, I believe. But you can vote for the best fishing charter, Hubbard's Marina, but also the best shooting range. Tampa Bay Sporting Clays was nominated, I saw yesterday, and they got a vote from me. So hopefully you take that one home, Mike Mesra.
Oh, wow. You know what? I'm going to look into that, but I am definitely going to log in today and vote for you as well. No doubt.
You see what Dylan did there?
Boy,
Dylan got himself another vote.
Right?
Yeah, got himself another vote. Yeah.
I'm learning from you, Mike.
When you guys are talking, I like want to just chime in every time about people driving and the weather and the clarity. I'm sitting on the other line. I'm just driving around going, I want to make a comment on that. Anyway, you guys are wonderful. I'll tell you, you're right with these storms, though, Mike. It's all over the place. We've been getting mornings in, and then, sometimes by 1 o'clock, it's just a torrential downpour. And then, like yesterday, it was supposed to rain all day, and it didn't even rain up there, but I came home, and it was a deluge at my house.
Right.
And I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Yep.
It's just weird, but the cooler weather is nice.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, it is. He's right.
Memorial Day, when I was down in North Captiva, and I tell you, I've never seen the water so clear. It was unbelievable. It was like the Bahamas.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's been really, really clear at John's Pass as well. It's I think this rain is going to get the best of that. I think that's going to start shifting now, especially as we get on the backside of this, and then the afternoon thunderstorms start back up. Water's warming back up. It'll start muddying up on us. We saw it after that last big rain. We got like this brownish, dark green water off the coast around St. Pete Beach, and I think we're going to see more and more of that as that water salinity decreases, that fresh water mixes in. It just changes the color.
Sure, no doubt.
Yeah, it's got to. Plus, I'm sure with runoff and stuff too, with a combination of everything, probably just gets it.
Yeah. It'll be a mess. So what's all going on? What's all going on out there by you, Tampa Bay Sporting Clays?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We've got a F1 troop today. This is probably one of our last big events for the season, just because after Memorial Day, everything kind of shuts down for charity events. But we've got an event today. Had a small one yesterday. We've added in, since you guys, we probably added in 2 since you guys were there, but we've added in the black course, so now we've got 8 courses at the club.
Nice.
We're putting in some bathrooms out on the course as well. Upgrading the archery, adding in some stuff out there. We're just cleaning up a lot of stuff, and as everything, there's always something to do, and I'm sure Dylan, you know that there's always something to clean up and something to fix.
Always.
Amen.
That's kind of what we've been working on.
Good.
Yep. But yeah, the club has never looked better. I mean, it's just, my staff's great. Everybody's happy and everybody's having a good time. And I'm going to take got a bunch of the young high school kids that work for me, so I'm taking them all out to dinner on Sunday for their graduation.
Oh,
and,
cool.
Nice.
Just trying to get back a little bit. These kids are great, and I'm just blessed to be able to have them. And looking forward to a fun summer. Got some fun things planned. I'm sure you guys do too. And Mike, I'm still got your name up on the list for a 28 for Beth. So when one comes in, you'll be my first call.
Let me know, buddy. You're the man. Nobody does it better than Tampa Bay Sporting Clays, our good friend Mike Mez. We appreciate you, brother. Have a great, great weekend, buddy. Good to hear your voice.
You guys do, man. Thank you for everything you do.
All right,
See you soon.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Mike Measure there, the man himself.
Tampa Bay, best of the best. Make sure you give him a vote.
He's such a good dude, and it's so much fun out there.
It is fun.
It's guns.
It's like golf with a gun.
It's guns.
I like that catchphrase.
Yeah.
It's like golf with a gun.
Ben Marshall. Yeah, golf with a gun. Ben plays a lot of golf, apparently.
With guns.
With guns. Let's go to Rick in Tampa. Rick, how are you?
I'm fine, Captain. How are you?
Well, fantastic. What you got for us?
Have you been catching lots of fish?
You know what? If I'm being honest, which most fishermen are not, the bite was a little tough this week. That I was running my trips in the morning, full moon outgoing.
Wait, what?
Full moon outgoing.
Full moon outgoing.
That's right.
New moon incoming.
That's right.
All
Around the full moon, and the incoming tide was
almost
a little
forgot
bit
that.
tough.
Thank you.
A little bit tough in the mornings. We caught some fish, but I don't think it was quite what we needed it to be. And the outgoing tide, when I had some tarpon trips booked this week, we got rained out because of that weather coming in. So it was a tough week. So I'm looking forward to getting past this little disturbance in the Gulf and getting away from this full moon and getting things right again.
The tough weeks make the good weeks that much better.
Amen, brother. No doubt.
It's a positive attitude right there.
Yeah, you always, last time we talked, you got me going with the punch in the nose thing. And now you got me going. I drove a cab in Tampa for 14 years.
Okay.
Oh,
and
brutal.
My favorite line was, "I can't believe they let you breed."
That's always a question that runs through my mind, and especially when you see
this guy's going to train someone to drive.
You'll see.
Are you kidding me?
You'll see someone driving like a moron, and then when you get to pass them, or you pull up at a light, and they've got a car full of children,
and
you're like,
that's
oh my God, they're breeding.
We talked about this. I was talking about this the other day. The whole gun control thing, just multiple things. It's like, dude, you have to have a license to drive a car. You have to have a license to have a concealed carry. You have to have a license to drive a boat. But you don't. There's nothing that's required to have children and be a parent.
Unbelievable.
To raise the next generation, there's no requirements.
Nope.
It's ridiculous.
It is funny, but
you should have some financial requirements and some IQ tests done. I mean, if we're going to regulate everything in this world, let's regulate who can breed.
I agree.
I'm 100% on board with that.
The thing is that you got what you have is for the last 60 years, really. You've had a succession of children having children. And no one's, the skills, the family's been breaking down and you've got so much of that.
Yeah, the nuclear family's breaking down, and then we're not keeping score at sports games and participation trophies.
It was the mid-'70s when they started with the whole "don't spank your children" thing. Don't spank your children, God forbid. Now all those are adults, and we've got losers running everywhere.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. one of the big problems is the government, especially the Democrats, seem to want, and I'm not for or against anybody, but something I've noticed is that they want to model your behavior. They're always into these social engineering things, but yet they continue to not provide any consequences to these young ladies and young men who are making these babies. They pay for them. They subsidize them. And sure, the girl's life is ruined. She's got time that she doesn't have the time she used to have.
I don't know how we got here. How did we get here?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but my point is that anyway, I wanted to talk to you and just looking forward to meeting you. I was wondering, where is this thing Tuesday night?
It's out in Bartow. It's a Bartow Ford. I don't have the address.
Beautiful Bartow.
I bet you can pull it up quick for me, huh?
Yeah.
I'll find it.
You'll find it. Bartow Ford. I never give the address out because it's Bartow Ford. If you put in Bartow Ford, you're going to find it.
That's fine. I just didn't know if Bartow Ford and there's
only one.
It's 2800 US 98 North in Bartow, Florida. 2800 US 98 North in Bartow, Florida.
Beautiful location. Come on out and see us. Yeah, good. We'll have good food. We're going to have a good time. Rick, I got to go here. Got some other stuff to chat about, but look forward to talking to you out there.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you've been eliminated already.
We lost him.
He's already been eliminated.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know where that went.
Bartow Ford. It went in a...
Strange.
I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah. I was looking at the screen, looking at John Mamola's face, and he was doing the same thing we were doing. I'm like, I don't know how we got there, but by golly, we got there. It's all good. We got one more. We did get to talk about guns.
We did.
So,
and we went
beer,
food,
fishing.
Okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
Fireworks. We talked about the military.
Yeah,
Coast Guard.
We've done it all. We got one last segment.
This is the best show ever.
To wrap up this horrible program. We'll be back, 970 WFLA. Looking for the Bay Area's premier family boating resource? Look no further than Pro Marina. Mamola was just like, how did we get...
We've been a lot of different ways.
I remember what he called me about. He called me about something. He wants me to get involved in something. I can't remember what it is now.
Oh, man. Wow. Mick Dodge said, is there any feedback from the 44-hour trip yet? No, not yet. We typically won't hear from the boat while it's offshore unless it's something negative. The brown pelican issue, William Keene, is coming up at the next FWC commission meeting. They're going to be finalizing that. So nothing has really changed with the brown pelican thing. Just waiting for the next FWC commission meeting, and they'll bring that up. And the next FWC commission meeting is going to happen in St. Pete, or not St. Pete. It's going to happen in Tampa, I believe. July 19th through 20th.
I wonder if Stretch Zone Brandon's open today.
I'm sure they are. The problem is getting in there. The stretch lab by my house, I had to make an appointment like 4 or 5 days out. I was like, it seems like this place wouldn't be busy. I went in there, dude. It was packed.
There might be
every single one of them tables.
I'm going to Google that bitch right now.
You can make an appointment online, and they have like go on Facebook and look them up because they'll serve you a coupon. Like my first one was like 50% off. Now that you visit their website and then you go on Facebook and look them up on Facebook, it'll serve you an ad.
I had it an ad a couple times before. Welcome back. Wrapping things up here this morning. Want to put a shout out to our good friends at Power Pucks. You know, they're the world's first power supplied trolling motor quick release bracket. Eliminates the need for an exterior power plug, which can snag lines, corrode easily. Really is just an eyesore and clutters up the deck of your boat. Go to powerpucks.com. That's PWR, powerpucks.com, and find out for yourself why so many of the pros are making the switch to Power Pucks.
Power Pucks.
I love mine.
It rolls off the tongue.
I got good news this week.
Okay.
My boat goes in the mold.
Oh.
Second week in June. So
I can't keep up with you, man. Every time I look over, you're getting a new boat. It's off-putting.
It's kind of cool, though.
It is cool, but it's hard to be happy for you.
Wow. Come on, man.
The jealousy is real. I'm going to get there one day.
It's a new boat.
Yeah, it is, man. It's really cool. And what are you getting? Another 26?
The 26 Contender Bay, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I can't wait.
With the new,
getting the new Simrad installed and all that stuff. All my new toys, the new Power Pole Move trolling motor.
With your Simrad, do they come preloaded with the Seymour maps?
I don't know. I've never done Simrad.
Oh,
I'm just making the switch.
Right,
making the switch.
Call your people.
I'm looking forward to
Get the Seymour chip. Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay.
Simrad is Seymour. Strike Lines Charts has some connections with, I believe it's Lowrance. And then Garmin has their relief shading. That stuff is really, really cool.
Yeah.
In Strike Lines Charts, we're working with them to get our captain's iPads. So they'll be able to have an iPad sitting on the plotter or next to the plotter, which will have all those defined definition maps. It's pretty wild, man, especially the Tampa Bay chart.
It is.
The Strike Lines chart for Tampa Bay is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. There's no doubt about it. So
really, really game-changing technologies.
Interesting. Did I mention this morning how fabulous it is when the man himself, like John Momola, is here in the building with us?
It is pretty cool.
Did we do enough? I don't know if we did enough brown notes in this morning for a little bit more.
You got to catch up now. You're going to pour it on at the end.
Signal. You need a little more. Just a little more. He's all right.
We got time.
You know he's all happy because the OTAs and all that have started, and his Bears are probably going to beat my Packers this year, so he's all happy. That gets him going.
When you said OTAs, I went to outside travel agencies. Started thinking about all my affiliate bookers. What's an OTA in sports?
Off-season training activity.
Look how happy he is. He immediately, he's like,
We're taking the North this year, Mike. I'm telling you.
Listen, I would not be shocked. I was a huge Justin Fields fan. I was not happy that the Bears got him. I thought the Packers should have. That's the guy the Packers should have made a move to get and let him sit behind Rodgers for a couple of years. Would have been perfect. But here we are having to play.
Is Rodgers still a thing?
He isn't. No, actually.
Not to Mike.
No. He hasn't been a thing to me in a while, actually.
That's true.
He's still your quarterback, though, right?
No.
Way to be up on the times there, buddy.
You can
Playing
tell.
for the Jets, the New York Jets.
Really?
Yep.
Way to be up on.
It's only the biggest headline of the entire NFL offseason.
Wow.
What's the NFL?
National Football. Never mind.
We've
lost cause here, Marola.
We only have a couple of minutes left, buddy. You do know the Rays are pretty good too, right?
Yes, I knew that.
I was just checking.
I at least keep up with the hometown stuff, guys. Come on.
Attaboy. Okay. Wow.
Have you been seeing the videos that they're putting out about Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask at OTAs?
I did see that.
Oh my God,
I know.
it's terrible.
It is. I'm like, what are we doing, dude? I don't know. I just can't. It's tough. It's going to be tough. The Bucks. God bless them. They're going to pay the piper here because they made the run to get that Super Bowl, and they got it. Had Brady in town, all that stuff. But with that came the lack of development for your next guy. And so here we are trying to find our next guy. That's just going to be kind of the way it works. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think they should waste Mike Evans anymore. They should just send him to Green Bay, package some stuff up.
Whoa, bro.
We'll take him. That'd be great. No?
There's not enough talent in Green Bay to trade back.
Oh, wow.
Shots fired.
I don't know. I'm not sure our wide receiving core is not better than yours in Chicago.
Yeah, that's true.
I was going to say, our quarterback's a little greener.
You guys are in Tampa Bay, right?
We are. Hey, listen, we're both Bucks fans.
Yeah, I'll root for the Bucks.
Yeah, we're Bucks fans. I'm a Bucks fan. Big time.
They're going to need all the help they can get this year.
It's just the way it's going to be. It's just the way
it doesn't sound like you're Bucks fans.
No, that's just the reality.
Miserable fall and winter of football in my household.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So good stuff anyway. Always good to have John Momola in the house. Again, the Zancudo Lodge. We're going to Costa Rica March 11th through the 15th, 2024. If you want to join us, reach out to me, 1-866-GAMEFISH. You can give me a call, DM me, whatever you need to do there. Tuesday night, we're going to be at Bartow Ford. Going to be a great, great show. So come on out and see us 6 to 8 p.m. out there. Silver Ring Cafe with the food, Ingle Coolers, Bull Bay Rods, Real Animals swag. Come on out and see us. It'll be a good one for sure. Hey, how about, what we're going to do now? We're going to go downstairs to Mangroves Cafe and have some breakfast with Dan.
Yes, sir. They got good food down there.
They got good food down there. If you're around during the week here, around Feather Sound, Mangroves Cafe here, the owner, Dan, ex-military dude, super good cat, 13577 Feather Sound Drive, suite number 180. I'm going to get me a killer breakfast burrito this morning.
They've got big ones down there. And the Cubans. Pretty good.
Cubans good, too.
They got a little bit of everything.
No doubt. Good stuff. Thanks, John Momola. We appreciate you, brother. Great job as always.
And don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy.
Too darn busy. Tight lines, everybody. Have a great week. Make sure you check us out tomorrow morning, 620 WDAE and 95.3 WDAE. Check us out. Cool.
Guys. Not our best show, but we'll get them next time.
No, we won't. That's not true.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. And don't forget, tomorrow, right here, same station, same studio, but 95.3 on the FM and then 620 AM and streaming live to the Real Animals Facebook page. Y'all have a good day. Check in tomorrow on the Hubbard's Marina page for the 44-hour catch and tomorrow night for that live stream show on the Real Animals and Hubbard's Marina page. Check it out. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for watching.
Julio Lehman next to my boat this morning.